Emeka Egbuka is a top 3 wide receiver right now if you look up your fantasy football wide receiver scoring through 5 games. In fact, through 5 games, he's the only receiver in the history of the NFL to ever have 25-plus receptions, 400-plus receiving yards, 5-plus receiving touchdowns. It's only Egbuka if you filter out by that. That's how good he is. Are we worried about Bucky's shoulder injury now that could keep him out, according to Adam Schefter? Not only the game he just sat out, but also week number 6. Is he out week 6? We'll have more on that. Croskey-Merrit now, is he a running back 1? 140-plus total yards and 2 touchdowns. He did fumble. Are we worried about the fumble? And Hampton. How worried are we about Hampton being spotted in a walking boot? We'll talk about all 4 of these guys. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Egbuka, first wide receiver to ever accomplish this right here, which is unbelievable. We talked about it last night. Egbuka, in week number 5, caught all 7 of his targets. The guy doesn't drop anything. 163 yards and a touchdown. Almost had another touchdown in this game that would have made him in a whole nother stratosphere by everyone's standard. But right now he still already is. And this is a guy you shouldn't trade. I know some people are going to want to know, do we trade him? Do we not trade him? No. He's a top 3 wide receiver. He's going to continue to be a top 3 or 4 wide receiver all year long. You might even argue better than that, but you can't expect that. You're just going to hope that it happens. But this is a top 5 wide receiver regardless. And you don't trade him. Even if somebody said, okay, Jamar Chase finally popped back off, do you want Jamar Chase for Egbuka? No, I don't. Would I, if I'm losing, let's say I got 1 or 2 wins and I have Egbuka, would I entertain a trade? Maybe, but you better give me the world. You better be giving me a JSN and a Genti, or I'm just not entertaining trading Egbuka. He's too valuable. He carries you week in and week out, and he might only even get better. So Egbuka to the moon. No, not to the moon. Egbuka to Jupiter.
To Jupiter.
Bucky Irving, okay, we're worried about him right now. It sucks, but we are. So basically, the report, according to Schefter, is he probably will not play against the Niners in week 6. So not only did he just miss week 5, he's probably out week 6. Now, hopefully that's all that this is. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a 4, 5, or 6 week thing or some sort of hidden, other issue that potentially needs surgery and he gets shut down or something weird like that. I do believe we're probably looking at 1 more game. Could it be 2? It's possible. But I would expect at least 1 game more, week 6, that he'll miss. Does that make him tradable to you? Depends on your record. Depends on what you're being offered. Would I trade him for a combo of things like maybe a running back of course I would take Judkins in something small, or maybe even Judkins straight up if you can't afford losses. But that's kind of like your lateral move. And would I go get a JSN straight up? Probably would want more. If an owner that has JSN is 5-0, they would be willing to probably do that and wait on it. If you're going after a team that's maybe 2 wins, they're not going to want Bucky missing 1 or 2 games potentially. So kind of hard, like Breece Hall and something for Bucky if you were to go try and shop Bucky and you couldn't wait. If you got 4 wins or 5 wins especially, just wait out the Bucky situation. Now, in the meantime, Rachaad White does appear to be in the role that would produce at least low-end wide receiver 2 numbers with this 14 carries. Now, he did have 2 touchdowns. Can't expect those scores every game. But 4 receptions for 30 yards, 14 carries, 40 yards. This is what I would consider to be low-end running back 2 volume at the very least, and that's pretty darn good. So if you end up having Rachaad White, and it does seem like it will be White right now, not that Sean Tucker can't climb into the role eventually, or if Rachaad White got hurt, but right now it does seem like it's Rachaad White's role. If you've got Rachaad White and you've got Bucky, you're probably covered. You could shop both of them together if you wanted, but I think I'd be okay with Rachaad White's production while I wait for Bucky if I do have the duo. If I don't have the duo, I am looking at opportunities. I'm looking at a JCM and a Garrett Wilson. I'm looking at some sort of creative combo. Would I take Henry and a JMO? Probably. Something like that if I could not wait. This is if you cannot wait. If you can wait, again, 4 or 5 wins, even 3 wins, I probably don't trade Bucky. I probably wait it out because he is still a league winner in my mind. He's still a monster upon his return. JCM is absolutely everything we thought he was. And it took a while for this coaching staff to see it. It's frustrating. It's the same waiting game we have with Harvey, the same waiting game we apparently now have with Woody Marks, the same waiting game that we've had with Hendy, and what we obviously still have in terms of Hendy because of the way they did not use Hendy last night. Head scratching that Ramondre fumbles again. That even with Gibson going down with a severe knee injury, likely knocking him out the year, all of a sudden you think, okay, they're gonna give Hendy the ball now because Gibson was in there. Antonio Gibson was in there because Ramondre fumbled. But instead of putting Hendy in, they used Ramondre. It is head scratching. So my point is, this right here should remind you that Harvey and Hendy and Woody Marks could still rise because this man was dropped in thousands and thousands of leagues walking into week number 5. In fact, he now makes the waiver wire board because he was cut in about, I would say 15% of leagues cut last week as people didn't want to wait. So now, even though this percentage is still not crazy high, I still put him on the board because it's significant enough. This is like a 15 to 18% availability, and that's enough to mention and put on the board. But JCM, people gave up on him. Don't give up on Hendy, Harvey, Woody. You can bench him, but don't give up because this guy went from rags to riches from week 4 to week 5. As for Ja'Cory Croskey-Merrit, a.k.a. JCM, a.k.a. Bill, 14 totes is not enough. We want more, but he was efficient with it. 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also added 2 receptions for 39 yards. This man was clearing 150 and 2 scores on also 2 catches. Just a phenomenal day. And I think because this team won, because this team has momentum, because again, it's enabling. Same thing with Ramondre. Unfortunately, it's enabling that Ramondre scored twice because now they won with that behavior, and you know the team's going to replicate. That's going to happen here too in a positive sense. Ja'Cory Croskey-Merrit was a part of this win, a big part of the win. They know what they have in him. Is there a threat that his fumble that he did have in the game, did it maybe caution them into using a little bit more of a mix, which they kind of did at times at the end of the game? But I'm still not overly worried about that fumble. I do believe Ja'Cory Croskey-Merrit is a running back too. Go forward. Anything can happen. Understand the risks involved with the staff that's been inconsistent with a player like this, but we saw this kid break out, and he's exactly who we thought he was, and he's going to, we'll send him to Mars. To Mars! Omarion Hampton, very concerning that he was in a walking boot after the game, and definitely, it looked like he was taping up the ankle, and he was going back into the game at the very end, but he couldn't get in time. And then the game was over, and it was just a very disappointing ending when Hampton could have been in there trying to score a touchdown. But it was a loss. It was, they obviously lost without him, so that's another positive thing when we talk about this enabling coaching staff type of thing, that if they didn't win and they didn't have him, they'd probably say, hey, man, we need him back. We needed him at the end of that game. We needed him to punch it in. I know Vidal's a good pickup and cuff, and if this kid misses any time, you want Vidal. Haskins, Vidal. There's a few running backs you can hit on the waiver wire here. Check them out. Go through the gauntlet of options. They're in order pretty much. Some of these, like Harvey, are more a long-term play. So if you needed like a now play, a Gainwell or a Carter could be more valuable. But there's the waiver board if you need it. I would say this. I would say that according to the report in the press conference, it did not seem, and a lot of people reported on this, like it was a serious injury. But the precautionary walking boot is a concern, but it's sometimes what they do where they put a player right in a walking boot to alleviate any of the stress on the injury. Doesn't mean that they're on crutches, or even sometimes a player is on crutches in a walking boot just to give them as much relief as they can give them, and then that player can play the next week. Hampton, it might be that kind of situation where they're just trying to give him as much of a break on the ankle as they can. But there is a real strong chance he misses one game. I would say a strong chance. But let's monitor it tomorrow. Hopefully he doesn't miss a game. These guys tend to miss one game at least when this happens. We'll have more information on the exact severity of the ankle injury and what grade it is tomorrow, or get a sense of what it could be. We might have to wait another day, but we probably know a good amount of information tomorrow. But this is a huge blow because this guy's been utilized and producing and looking fantastic, and it just sucks that we're hit with so many injuries this year. I mean, the injuries have been so crazy, especially the last 2 weeks. They've been adding up, and I can't really remember. And I said about a week or two ago on the show that it seemed kind of normal that we'd get hit with this many injuries, and then it just started piling up. Then the neighbor's injury, and then now all of a sudden we're sitting here going, I don't think we've ever had a more injury-riddled first 5 weeks of football. It's been crazy. We adjust and adapt, and that's why this show is here, and that's why we do what we do. Also, make sure that you realize you can get 365 24/7 live help on my Patreon. It's a live chat group. It's $10 a month, cancel anytime. It's the best place to be, in my opinion, to get 24/7 trade advice, 24/7 lineup advice, 24/7 rant time if you just need to rant on something. We are here for you. This is your new group chat. Everybody's got a group chat. On my group chat, I don't have a group chat. You do now. We're your group chat. We're your family 24/7, 365. Link in the description, or just go to patreon.com/the Fantasy Football Show. But go to the Patreon app just by clicking the link in the description. It'll bring it all up for you. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all on the next live stream. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. I'm live whenever big news breaks, and I'm live at midnight Eastern almost every single night.